In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the exact list building process that we used to generate over $4 million in sales pipeline for our clients in just about 4 months. So you can see here a few testimonials from our client who we helped get those results. And this is the video case study as well if you want to check it out. Here are some case studies and results as well. We've gotten all of these case studies and results by using the same list building process I'm about to walk you through today. So really today I wanted to go over how you can build a lead list of your ideal prospects so you can actually talk to your ideal clients, get on sales calls with them, and eventually close them for your business. So this is because when you send emails to a targeted list of your ideal clients, you're reaching out to those who are most likely to be interested in what you have to offer. So on the other end, if you just don't take the time and don't put in the effort to do this, you're going to target the wrong leads. You're going to book calls with the relevant companies that are all going to be unqualified. And your conversion rate is just going to be so low from your cold email campaigns that you don't even justify the cost of doing cold email. So essentially, you end up wasting a ton of time, a ton of resources, and it's just not worth it, right? So let's go over the first step you need to do to be able to create a lead list of your ideal prospects. So the first thing you need to do is you need to define your ideal customer profile, obviously. So you might be wondering, what is an ideal customer profile? So an ICP or ideal customer profile is essentially a description of the type of company or individual that will reap the most benefit from your product or service, right? So an ideal customer profile is basically who needs your service the most, who has the pain points and the problems that your service and your offer solves. So defining your ideal customer profile helps you build a more accurate lead list so you can speak directly to the needs of those who are most likely to convert into actual clients. Now, you might be wondering why it's important to define your ideal customer profile before going into how to actually build a lead list of emails that you need for your cold email campaign. And the reason is simple. It all comes down to efficiency and effectiveness. Because when you understand your ideal client, you can use list building tools more strategically so you can reach out to only qualified leads that are going to engage with your brand, with your offer, and with your emails instead of reaching out to everyone. Because if you just reach out to everyone, the conversion rate is going to be very low. You're going to get many spam complaints because the people you're reaching out to are not relevant for what you have to offer. And you're simply not going to get results because your messaging is also not going to be super accurate and relevant to who you're reaching out to. So basically, launching a cold email campaign without understanding your ICP first is like trying to find a needle in a haystack without knowing what the needle looks like. So how you can define an ICP. And so defining an ICP involves a few key steps. First thing you need to do, in my opinion, is just analyzing your existing clients. So look at your best clients and identify common things, common factors between them. So, for example, what do they share in terms of business size, industry, location, technologies used, whatever else, right? So, for example, you might have clients that are only in two industries. You might be a marketing agency, and you might have clients in the e-com industry that are mostly in the skincare niche and I don't know, hair care niche, right? Now, from there, you understand that your ideal clients might be, skincare and hair care brands, and so from there, you can get an idea of what your ideal customer profile would look like. However, you just need to take in consideration there are other ways of coming up and defining your ideal customer profile. So, for example, you can consider your products and offers benefits. Determine who would benefit more from your product and from your offer. So you might ask yourself which features stand out as the most unique features of your service or of your offer. Who faces the challenges, the pain points and problems and needs that your product solves. By understanding these things, you can identify potential customers who will gain the most value from your offer. The third way of coming up with an ideal customer profile is by just doing market research. So you can conduct market research to determine who would most likely be interested in your offer. You can run surveys, industry reports, or interviews with potential clients. And then last thing you need to do is create a detailed profile. So once you've collected all of this data from your research, the next step is to define what your ideal customer profile looks like. So here are a few key elements that you need to consider when building your ideal customer profile. So the first thing you need to consider is the industry or niche as well if you want to take a step further. So identify the specific industry your client operates in. And so you can further narrow this down by focusing on a niche or a sub niche that aligns with your service. An example I mentioned earlier, you could have your ideal customer profile might be e-commerce brands as the industry, and then you might want to target only a few niches, for example, skincare brands. That's a niche. The next thing you need to consider is the job title. So defining job titles of the decision makers you want to reach out to. And these titles should be individuals who will generally care about your offer and benefit from your offer in some way. For instance, if you're selling marketing services, targeting HR, people might not be relevant. Next thing you need to consider is location. So there are two types of locations. There's the headquarters location, which is the primary location of the company, and then there's the contacts location, which is the actual location of the individual you're reaching out to. So just make sure to target regions where your prospects are based, keeping in mind the compliance laws for cold email, because some countries have strict regulations or even prohibit cold email marketing. So just keep that in mind and adjust your approach accordingly. The next thing you need to consider is revenue. So this is pretty straightforward. How much money does the company make to be qualified? And so make sure to target companies that can actually afford your services. Because if you are selling, for instance, an SEO package for $10,000 a month, and you're selling it to companies that are making less than six figures per year in revenue, it's just going to be impossible. At the same time, I don't recommend you to use the revenue filter because most list building tools will give you inaccurate data. So just figure it out how much money, how much revenue does the company have to make in order to be qualified for your service, but don't really use the revenue filter. What I recommend you to use is the company size filter, which is the next thing you need to consider. So to filter for companies that can actually afford what you sell, I recommend filtering by company size instead of revenue. This is because employee account filters are much more accurate than revenue filters on most list building tools. If you're only selling to companies with a specific revenue, just figure out a range of employees account that matches that revenue that you're targeting. The next thing you need to consider is the technologies used. So depending on the services that you sell and the angle that you're using in your cold email campaign, you might want to filter for companies that can use or are using a specific technology or tool. For instance, if you're selling an email marketing service to e-commerce brands, it might make sense to reach out to brands that are already using Klaviyo, which is an email marketing tool. If you reach out to brands that are not using an email marketing tool or an email sending platform for their email marketing, they might not even be running an email list, so they might not be qualified for your offer unless your offer is to completely build their email list from scratch. Now, when it comes to building a lead list of your ideal prospects, there are a ton of different tools that you can use. The first one is Apollo, of course, great data source in this building tool. It's affordable and offers a lot of contacts that you can scrape over 220 million contacts and over 30 million companies, plus plenty of filters to help you narrow down the best leads. And here's an overview of all the filters that Apollo gives you to use. Now, the concept about Apollo is that there's going to be a significant portion of the lead list that you scrape from it that is invalid, meaning those email addresses don't exist or the mailbox associated with them is being deactivated. Now let's see how you can actually scrape a lead list from Apollo.io. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Apollo.io, you want to create an account if you don't have one, and then you want to go to either the companies or the people tab. And obviously, companies you're just going to filter for actual businesses, while the people tab here you can filter for employees, you can filter for job title and email status as well. So let's start with the companies tab. Now here let's assume that you are a marketing agency and your target market is e-commerce brands in the US with 3 to 50 employees in the cosmetics niche. Now, what you want to do is since most e-commerce brands we'll use Shopify or Trivial Plus or other e-commerce website platforms such as WooCommerce. You want to go to the technologies here and you want to filter for those platforms, those technologies. So we want to filter for Shopify, Shopify Plus as well. And let's say that we want to target companies also using WooCommerce, which is another e-commerce platform. Now you will see a pretty big list of companies that will pop up on your Apollo account. And basically, like some of these companies are actually going to be irrelevant because, as you can see, we've got Person, which is not really an e-commerce company, and then we also have Mercedes. We also have some of them are just going to be irrelevant. So the New York Times as well, not super relevant, not probably not an e-commerce brand, right? So now the next thing you want to do is you want to go to industry. Now we said that you want to target cosmetics e-commerce brands, so you can actually filter for that industry. Let's filter for cosmetics brands. And now if you go through all of these companies, these are going to be much more relevant to your target market. These are actually going to be e-commerce brands. If you want to go a step further, you can actually filter for keywords. For example, I don't know, skincare, you want to target skincare brands or hair care brands, you can type the keyword here and you will get a much more accurate lead list. And the next thing you want to do is we said that you want to target brands with 3 to 50 employees. You want to go to employees, filter here, and since we don't have a predefined range for 3 to 50, you want to go to the custom range right here. And you want to type 3, or was it 350? There we go. And now also you will see a little list of actual e-commerce brands in the cosmetics niche with 3 to 50 employees. The next thing you want to do is you want to filter for the account location, which in this case is the company location, the company's headquarters, because we are still in the companies tab. So you want to filter for United States or wherever you want to target. So that's pretty much it on the companies tab right here. So if you also want to go a step further and you want to create a lead list based on, and you want to, let's say you want to target companies based on their intent, you can actually do that. A good filter to use in this case is job postings. So for example, let's say that you are selling SEO services to these e-commerce brands. You might filter for companies that are hiring for an SEO specialist or an SEO person in-house. Those companies are probably looking to do some SEO on their website, so that is a pretty good indicator that those are probably more accurate companies to reach out to. The next thing you want to do is you want to go to the people tab, because right now we've just filtered for businesses. So we do not have emails, we do not have people to reach out to. This is the only data that you get from the companies tab. So let's go over the people tab here. Now here you can filter for the most important filter, the most useful filter is of course the job title. As you can see here in the companies tab, we add, let's see, we had 690 companies that match those criteria, those filters. Now, you want to go to people, and you will see that here we have got how many people? 2.9K. So 2,900 people. Of course, not all of them are going to be relevant to what you're targeting, as we just talked about. As you can see here, you can go through all of the titles. You'll see president, founder, CEO, head of growth, and there are many people here. Some of them, actually, most of them are going to be relevant. So what you want to do is you want to go to the job titles filter here, and you want to filter for the employees and the decision makers that actually matter to your offer. So let's assume you are, again, a marketing agency. You want to reach out to those e-commerce brands with 3 to 50 employees. Most of these brands, so if you reach out to the CEO, the founder, the owner, they will probably respond to you. If you target companies with more than 50 employees, you probably want to filter for more specific job titles. For example, director of marketing, CMO, marketing manager. Now let's assume that you want to target here founder and CEOs. Obviously, there are going to be more job titles that are actually relevant to your offer, to your emails. So you want to put them, all of them here. But let's assume you only want to reach out to CEOs and founders. Now we have 240 people here that match the criteria. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to filter for email status and you want to filter for verified and guest because otherwise Apple is just going to show you all of the leads and some of them aren't going to have a valid email. As you can see here, these leads have a valid email, as you can see here, but these other ones don't. So you want to go here to the email status filter. You want to filter for verified and guest. And once you've built your lead list in Apollo.io, the last thing you want to do is you want to click on this box right here to select all leads and export them as a CSV. Because then what you want to do is you want to upload the CSV on your email verification tool, which is going to be Email Verifier or another similar one to basically verify all the emails, make sure you're only reaching out to valid email addresses. Now, then what you want to do is you want to click on this button right here, export records to CSV, and then it will ask you if you want to export all emails or export verified emails only. Now, since we already filtered for verified and guest emails, it just makes sense to export all emails. So then what you want to do is you simply want to click on this button save, and it will start downloading the CSV with your lead list. Now, the second list building tool I recommend is LinkedIn SalesNav. SalesNav is a great data source and list building tool to build lead lists directly within LinkedIn. An advantage of SalesNav is that you can build much more targeted lead lists because of the wide variety of available filters, as you can see here. For instance, if you found members of a LinkedIn group that aligns with your target market or with the offer, you can leverage this in your cold email campaign. So you can reach out to the members of that LinkedIn group, and you might say in the email, you might reference to the group saying, "Hi, Mr. Prospect, I'm reaching out because I noticed you're also inside of this group." This makes your cold email campaigns much more targeted, much more personalized, and basically increasing your reply rate. One downside of LinkedIn Sales Nav is that there is a limit to the number of leads you can scrape. Therefore, if you need to compile a large list of leads, you will often find you need to use an external scraping tool. Directories for specific niches or types of companies that you might want to reach out to. Directories are the best data sources you can use to get a lead list of targeted leads. When using directories, you will need an external scraping tool to be able to get the data that you need. ClasherCode is one of the best directories and most complete data sources that you can use. It's great for scraping agencies, but also companies in the development, design, consulting, and IT industries. To scrape ClasherCode and other directories as well, you will need a scraper such as Instant Data Scraper. When it comes to cleaning the lead list of your prospects, once you've defined your ideal client profile and you've built a list, there's one more step you need to take before you upload it to the cold design software. Because not all of the email addresses that you find on list building tools are going to be valid. Some of them are just going to be invalid. So before you add the list to your campaign on your email signing software, you should confirm these email addresses are actually valid by using an external tool such as mailverify.com. If you don't validate these emails, you might end up reaching out to invalid email addresses, such as those linked to non-existing mailboxes. If you keep sending emails to these invalid email addresses, this can lead to a high bounce rate, which occurs when your cold emails are rejected because the intended mailboxes simply don't exist. So once you've validated these emails, you will see the output includes three different types of emails, which are invalid, casual slash risky, and valid emails. Now, invalid emails don't exist or have been deactivated, so don't reach out to them because they will result in bounces, which we obviously want to avoid. Casual slash risky emails may exist or may not. Normal email verification tools that use SMTP verification, such as MillenVerify.com, are not able to determine whether it's safe to send emails to these email addresses or not. So just to be safe, don't include them in your campaigns. The only tool you can use to validate casual emails is called Scrubby.io. And the type of verification that Scrubby does is manual. So it costs significantly more than SMTP validation like Million Fire. So if you have a very targeted campaign you want to run, And or for example, if your target market is very small, you might want to consider using Scrubby to also validate catch-all emails. Scrubby can be useful, as I say, if your lead list is very small and you want to get as many email addresses as possible from it. Valid emails are email addresses that exist, so you can safely send emails to them. These are going to be the only types of emails that you should upload on your calling center software and your campaign. Now, separate valid emails on a spreadsheet and upload them to Smart AI, which is a calling center platform that I recommend to launch your calling campaign. Now, with that being said, building a target list of your ideal prospects for your cold email campaign is just one of the necessary steps involved in making cold email work. So, just building a lead list is a very tedious process that can take a ton of time, a ton of work. So, if you don't have the time to do this yourself, we can handle everything from helping you define an ideal client profile for your campaigns to actually booking the sales calls with your ideal clients on your calendar. If you're interested, just book a call link below and we'll see if we can help. That being said, I appreciate you watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.